Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to dive into the 4 ways to diagnose the root of a problem. And I believe the best way to diagnose this topic is to tell you a story. So I met with a client, we're going to call her Martha. And in our first meeting, she said, I know exactly what my problem is. I know what I need to do. I need to find ways to make more money. I'm an entrepreneur. However, I am not making enough money in order to save and strategize and still be able to do all the things that I want to do. And this is the first thing that will usually happen when we have a problem. We will try to diagnose our own problem. We will come to the person that we are looking to for help and ultimately say, I already know the challenge. I already know the problem. I just need your help in this particular area. She was already rooted in what she believed her problem was. And so the very first thing that you have to do in order to get to the root of a problem is to stop leading with your opinion. You can't diagnose your own problem, especially if you're going to someone for help. We can't go to the doctor and then say, I already know what's wrong. I can give the doctor the symptoms and then let the doctor diagnose what they believe may be happening. But many times when we have a money issue, we will try and self-diagnose what we believe we need to fix. And this can cause us to spin our wheels and end up wasting a lot of time trying to fix something that's not actually our problem. So the first thing that you need to do is let go of your own opinion. When you do decide to try and get help for an issue, try your best not to diagnose your own problem and just list out the symptoms of that particular problem. So if you know you're having an issue with saving money, talk about that challenge and list out all of the symptoms. I'm having a hard time with the money staying in my account. I feel like I'm always spending money. I believe I might have an income problem, but I would love for you to look at it and tell me what you think. So once me and Martha sits down and actually look at her numbers, I start to see that she makes more than her bills, which means that her income actually is sufficient for all of the bills and all of the expenses that she currently has. And once she sees the numbers, then she realizes that it's actually her discretionary spending, her going out to eat, her shopping that is causing her money issue and not the bills that she has. So within that same conversation, she ultimately decides that she wants to put herself on a no spend. She wants to stop spending, stop eating out, stop traveling. She just wants to stop it all. In which I really do deeply believe that most of us will do this because we believe it's a way of correcting the issue that we have. The problem is that it's an overcorrection. And it brings me to my second point. We cannot be too extreme when we are trying to deal with the root of a problem. When we are too extreme with our money, it causes us to go too far in the opposite direction. So we start to deprive ourselves, we start to strip ourselves of all types of fun, but this causes us to feel like we're not having any fun in our life. It can lead to burnout and it can ultimately lead to splurging. You will have a bad day at some point and then you're going to want to spend all of your money because you have not been allowing yourself to have any fun with any little amounts of money. So we cannot be extreme in these circumstances. Whenever we are too extreme in any area of our lives, it always ends up hurting us. You restrict your food too much, you're probably going to end up binge eating. You restrict your money too much, you're probably going to end up splurging and impulse shopping. So whenever you realize that you may have a money issue, a money problem, make sure that you're not getting too extreme, that you don't go too far in the opposite direction and just stop spending money altogether. It's definitely not going to help. So now that I've explained this to Martha and we have talked about how she can't be too extreme, how we have to have a balance between the things that she has to do, the things that she wants to do, and the things that she could possibly let go, then we start to evaluate what her true challenge is. Because initially, remember, she thought that she had an income problem. She thought that she just needed to make more money. However, she did not need to make more money because she made enough to cover her bills and to get the things that she liked. She was just going a little too far. What we had to do in step 3 is to identify the real problem. Now, identifying the real problem usually will come with some type of mirror. We will have to face ourselves, face our ego, face our pride, and come up with the actual conclusion of what's going on. So for Martha, once she realized it was not an income problem, ultimately we did realize that she had a spending problem. And this can be very challenging because we don't want to believe that sometimes we have a spending problem. It's easier to just go after making more money or changing jobs or possibly blaming someone else. But when we have an actual issue that is us, it's very challenging to face that issue and to make the changes that we need to make. But to get to the root of the problem, we have to find a way to let go of our ego and start to discipline ourselves. With Martha, we had to do a deep dive into her past. I asked her a bunch of questions about her childhood and ultimately realized that she was dealing with childhood financial trauma. She had grown up in a fearful money house, which means that she had a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety around money. We believe that money is scarce, that it will constantly leave our bank account, that a bill will always be waiting for our money or a repair, or if we don't hurry up and spend it, something else or someone else is going to take that money from us. This makes it really challenging to save because the money cannot sit in your bank account without you constantly being worried that something is going to happen, that the other shoe is going to drop. And so that anxiety causes us to hurry up and spend the money. And it doesn't matter how much more money you make if that's the issue, because if that's the issue, you will constantly always worry as money grows in your account. It will be almost impossible to watch it sit in your bank account without thinking of different ways to spend the money. And so we had to do a deep dive. We had to split up some of her savings account and put parameters and rules around her spending. Now, this process took some self-reflection. It took her putting down her ego and her pride and looking in the mirror and saying, this is something that I definitely need to do in order to improve my financial situation. It is not something that's easy to do, but it is definitely needed if you're trying to get to the root of a money problem. And the fourth thing that we need to do in order to get to the root of a money problem is not disqualify ourselves. Even when I was talking with Martha, there were times in our conversation where she felt hopeless, where she felt like there was nothing that she could do, like she was not qualified to change her own financial situation. And I had to constantly encourage her and show her that she definitely could make these changes, that this was not an impossible feat. And so many times we will look at our money situation, we may look at our debt or our income and ultimately think that we are unable to get out of a financial situation to make more money, to pay this debt down, or to monitor our own spending. But we are able to do it and we are qualified to do it. We just need the knowledge and the strategy and the systems in order to do so. So doing deeper dives into financial literacy, taking time out to spend time with your money, and setting parameters and rules and systems around your money will ultimately get you there. It's definitely going to take some time, but you are able to do this. And so we can't disqualify ourselves before we even start. We will talk ourselves out of something before we even try to do it. So sometimes it's not someone else telling us that we can't do something, it's us telling us that we can't do something. So if you do get overwhelmed, put it down and come back, but just make sure that you're constantly coming back, that you're listening to podcasts, that you're watching YouTube videos, that you're spending time in your budget planner, that you're spending time with your money. And if you continue to spend time with it, it will improve. It's the one thing that will help you to fix whatever problem you are currently having. So those are the 4 things that we have to do in order to get to the root of a problem. If you want to see the spiritual side where we talk about the prodigal son and how this relates to scripture, I will link that video above because I am going to be diving into this topic on Sunday morning. So I will link it above if you would like to see it. And I would love to know your thoughts on this topic. Have you ever had a money problem that you felt like you just could not get past? Did you ultimately realize that the problem that you thought you had was not the actual problem and that there was something deeper going on? Please leave them in the comments below and I will see you all in my next video. Until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys.